Good morning, ladies and gents, and welcome to week 5 of English 101. You may notice in this weekly overview video that I'm not including video of myself. My little kids got a fun tummy bug over the weekend, and I've spent, at least the last 24 hours catching puke in a bucket. So I'm not going to be on a video today. But I did want to give you guys a good overview of what we're doing this week. Hopefully answer any frequently asked questions that come up and give you all the tools you need to be successful. So let's take a look at our week here as we round out January. Can you believe that's over? And head into February. This week is really about emphasizing the process of writing. And so last week we started our first draft of our Project 1 essay. We did some peer review. Hopefully you got some good feedback. This week we are taking that feedback and we're revising and working on our essays, making them even better. We've got one more day of peer review that's happening on the 1st. What I want to emphasize here is that the essay you submit on the 1st should not be the same essay that you submitted on the 27th. You should have taken this essay, you should take the feedback, take your time, work on it, revise it, rewrite it, read it out loud to yourself, read it out loud to a friend, find everything that's not perfect in the essay, make it perfect, and then submit it for peer review on Wednesday. Your peers are going to look at it and find more things to fix, which is exactly what we want to have happen. Because when you submit it to me, you want folks to have found everything they possibly could so that you can get the highest grade possible when I start comparing it to the rubric and awarding points like that. So really dig into this process approach to writing where we look at it, we've made something great, and then we say, all right, I know it's great, but how can I make it even better? And you go through with that red pen, or you read it out loud to your friend and you find any places that just feel awkward, or where something's unclear, or where you need more sources to support your ideas. Hold up your essay against the outline, make sure it's hitting all those bullet points. Hold up your essay against the grading rubric, which is in the assignment. You can look at that before we even get to it. Look at that rubric, make sure that your essay is aligning with the rubric, because that's exactly what I'm going to use to grade it. So go through all of those steps as you're writing your essay to make sure it is just the very strongest submission you can make before you turn in that final draft, because we are going to be submitting that final draft on Sunday at midnight. That final draft needs to come in. It is going to be run through a couple plagiarism checkers through the Turnitin software plagiarism checker. And then CBC just got access to a really fun new technology that checks for AI writing, which is really cool because it's neat that they already developed a plagiarism checker for that, because using an AI software to write would, of course, be considered cheating on any writing assignment in the college setting. Which, of course, you guys aren't going to do because you're amazing writers and you're invested in the process and you know that your learning is more important than cheating and all of that good stuff. But just in case the little thought flitted across your mind, do know that all of the essays get run through those two separate programs, the Turnitin to check for plagiarism and our ChatGPT AI plagiarism checker as well. So do make sure that all of it's original material, that you're using your MLA format to cite your quotes, and you should be good to go, because if plagiarism is found, of course the essay earns a 0 score. I have to report it to the Dean of Student Behavior. It's a whole thing. So we'll just make it all original work and it'll be fabulous. You can also, as a resource, if you're not quite sure if your essay is doing what it needs to be doing, or if you just want another set of eyes on it, you're not getting the feedback you hoped you would, you can always take it to the CBC Writing Center. We've got an announcement up in our Canvas modules about this. You can take it to the CBC Academic Success Center. You can either schedule an appointment in person, or you can use an asynchronous online option. The in-person one, obviously, you're going to get feedback immediately because you're sitting there with the person and they're talking to you. The online one takes roughly 48 hours to get you feedback. So keep that timeline in mind. If you do want to use the asynchronous online one, make sure you give yourself enough time to get that feedback and make changes before you submit the final draft. because it does take typically around 48 hours. Sometimes it's faster, but I wouldn't count on it, is the caveat I will give you there. Hopefully that's helpful. So if you do take your paper to the CBC Writing Center, afterwards send me an email with a copy of the feedback you received from your reviewer, and I will get you extra credit points. So it's a win-win. Your essay gets better and you get extra credit. Pretty cool. And as we've discussed multiple times in the last weeks, everything you need to be successful is in the modules tab, particularly in the essay subheader. You can check out the essay prompt and outline again. You can check out how to go from outline to essay. You can check out the thesis worksheet, the thesis walkthrough lecture. All of those things, if you're feeling like you're struggling with any elements, could be really beneficial for you there. We also have a fun folder down at the bottom that's all about MLA format and grammar. So this essay must be in MLA format. There's a sample MLA format for you here. And I've also linked the OWL Purdue MLA style guide. So this will show you in a lot of different ways how an MLA paper is supposed to work. So you've got your name at the top, the professor, the class, the date, written in this specific format with the day first, the month, and then the year. You've got your title centered. It's just regular font. It's not bold or italic or anything fancy. You've got your running header with your last name and page number. And then your document should be Times New Roman, 12-point font, double spaced with 1-inch margins. If any of that is not happening, you're going to lose points, and that's a super bummer. So make sure that your essay is following this style guide exactly. The pages should be sequential and numbered, and then when you get to the works cited page, it is also sequential and numbered. Works cited is capitalized, centered as a title. Works is going to be plural because you need at least 2 sources for this essay. And then we have our sources. If the source goes over 1 line, it gets a hanging indent, as you see demonstrated for you here. You'll also note that the citations are alphabetized by the first letter that appears in the citation, so make sure that you're doing that as well. If you use the CBC library databases to get sources, they will create citations for you. If you are using your own brain, which is awesome, you can also get help with your citations. I've got a citation generator linked for you here. It's the Night Cite one. So if you go into the Night Cite generator, make sure that you've selected MLA format. If you're citing Agatha Christie's book, you're going to select basic book. It's going to be Agatha and then Christie, because that's pretty obvious, right? The book title is Murder on the Orient Express. You do have to use this book as one of your sources, so pay attention if you weren't before, because you do need the citation. And then for this information, if you've got a paper book, that will be in the first pages of the book. You can also go to a book distributor like Amazon and look up the information here. Just make sure it's the same edition as you have. So if I had bought this edition of the book, I could scroll down to the very bottom where it has product details, and I will find that the publisher is William Morrow Paperbacks. I can just copy that into there. And then I go back over here. I don't need the publishing city. So that's not information I need. So I would just say no publishing city. Year published, you go back in here. This copy was published in 2003. So I would go ahead and put the publication date of the book I purchased, not the original publication date, unless you have a first edition. And if you do, contact me, because that's amazing and it's probably worth $1 million. Does the resource have pagination? It does, but we don't need to include that in the citation. And then was it print? If so, click submit, and then you copy and paste this as your citation. You will need to format it, make it Times New Roman, 12-point font, double spaced, but that is your citation, which is exciting. Hooray! So make sure you're including both of your citations in your works cited page. So they would be here, works cited page. You would have Agatha Christie here, and then Leon Seltzer here as your second source, ideally. If you find another source, awesome. Make sure you include it and cite it. but I would highly recommend using Agatha Christie's book because that's required, and then Leon Seltzer's article about justice and revenge as your second source. Cool beans, right? Clear as mud, yes? So we've got lots of help for us then in the modules tab for MLA format and also grammar. So please make sure that you're checking out those resources. All the MLA stuff is right here if you need it. Here's a lot of grammar stuff if you're not sure about sentences and clauses. You get hung up with commas a lot. This might be helpful for you. So use all the resources you have available to be successful in this essay. I'm looking forward to seeing what you create. Once again, you're going to have that peer review on middle of this week. And then you are submitting the final draft of this fabulous Project 1 essay on Sunday before midnight. And I'm gonna caution us, like, try and submit it early. Don't wait till midnight, because, like, the internet gremlins will make sure something technologically goes wrong if you wait till midnight. So try and submit it early if you can. Always a good bet. All right, hopefully that helps give you a nice overview of what we're doing. Because my kids are almost nonstop puking. There might be a slight delay in email communication today, possibly tomorrow. Hopefully we're over all this by tomorrow and we'll be back in the groove. But I thank you in advance for your patience and understanding if the emails are a little slower to be responded to today and possibly tomorrow. Thank you for your patience. I look forward to seeing what you guys create and have fun writing and revising.